Now, breaking news from WRAL. Coverage you can count on.
A home catches fire. This is a live look at crews working to put out the fire in Durham. The new information we've learned in the last few minutes.
And check out this wind chill before you head out the door. 14 in Roxborough and South Hill, 20 now in the Triangle. I'll show you how much more this could drop as you're headed out the door.
Search for a driver, the man who is on the run now after a chase and crashing multiple times.
And tracking illness. We're getting new information today about the spread of the flu and COVID, how respiratory illnesses are hitting people across the state right now. If you're sneezing, coughing, feeling icky, just stay put, stay at home. You're in the right spot. We're feeling healthy this morning and ready to start your day. It's Wednesday. I'm Renee Chu.
I'm Jeff Hogan. Yeah, thanks for making us part of your early Wednesday here as we get things rolling. And our routine has become cold every morning. A little bit of wind out there. So there's a bit of a wind chill out there, Elizabeth.
Taking a look at Zebulon right here, you can see the flags flying in front of the front of the town hall, and they're moving around. It's not really windy, but it doesn't take that much to make it feel a lot colder than it really is. Officially in the Triangle, 29, and our wind is out of the north at 10 miles per hour. So that is making it feel pretty chilly. Our temperature 29 is 25 in Roxborough, 24 in South Hill, 35 in Fayetteville, 32 in Goldsboro. So these temperatures are nothing that we haven't seen already. But then you add the wind to it, and it feels like 14 in Roxborough and South Hill, 20 in Durham and Raleigh, feels like 22 in Rocky Mountain, 24 in Southern Pines. And these temperatures may drop even more as we get through the morning. That northerly wind is helping to push that colder air in. So it is going to be a chilly afternoon. We'll see a high of around 40 degrees, likely to feel more like mid-30s. Still going to be warmer for the weekend when the rain rolls in. I'll show you the timeline coming up, Ken.
Elizabeth, at 6:01, around the quiet start to your morning commute this morning, which is good news, particularly if you're getting ready to head out. We just have this disabled vehicle in the eastbound lanes of the Beltline. This is near Wake Forest Road, but not causing any problems for you this morning. I'll tell you what, anywhere from Wendell to Raleigh, Durham, Chapel Hill, all the major routes are delay-free at this hour. You're getting ready to head out the door this morning. We want you to do yourself a favor, tune us in on 101.5 HD3. You can listen to us anywhere in the Triangle.
And there are still some counties in our area that have had that refreeze. Icy spots are out there today. And that means school delays again for some. Warren County schools are on a 2-hour delay. Vance County schools are delayed 1 hour.
Breaking news in Durham. In the last 15 minutes, we've learned a homeowner was taken to the hospital after a fire. Nick Perlin is in the WRAL Breaking News Tracker over on North Buchanan Boulevard. And Nick, crews have been there since 3:30 this morning.
Renee, now looks like crews are starting to pack up. I'm seeing them wrap up the hoses and start to move out of here. I want to take a look, though, at this home that was burned here around 3:40 this morning. You can see the bricks of the exterior here. It's badly charred, and some of the wood there exposed. We saw firefighters spraying water on it all morning, trying to extinguish it. We do know that one homeowner was treated here and then taken to the hospital. We're trying to get an update on that person's injuries, and we're also hearing that a cat is missing at this point in time, but we're still working with the fire department to figure out what led to this fire. We're going to keep working to get more information, and as new details become available, of course, we'll be sure to update you. Live in Durham, Nick Perlin, WRAL News.
Also this morning, a Durham man is facing federal charges after prosecutors say he tried to join ISIS. WRAL's Kelsey Coffey joins us live from the federal courthouse in Raleigh. And Kelsey, we understand he was arrested at RDU as he was trying to leave the country.
Yes, Jeff, we're learning new information after federal prosecutors released court documents late last night, even though all of this happened at the end of last year. I want everyone to take a look at your screen. This man here, Alexander White, is now facing federal charges after the FBI says he tried to support ISIS. This is an FBI surveillance photo of him taken back in October. And here's what we know about him so far. White is 29 years old and lives on University Drive in Durham. He's facing federal charges after making Facebook posts in support of ISIS between May and October. The FBI says he booked a flight from RDU to Morocco for December 4th. That's when FBI agents arrested him inside the airport before he was able to board the plane. So we'll be sure to keep you updated on what happens next in this case. Kelsey Coffey, WRAL News, live in Raleigh.
Authorities are looking for a man who led deputies on a chase and crashed into another driver's car. Now, the chase started in eastern Wake County on US 64. Deputies chased the driver through Wendell. The driver crashed into another car near Lizard Lick Road, but still did not stop. Deputies say the driver then later slammed on the brakes right in front of a deputy's car, causing that deputy to hit him from behind. The driver crashed on Wendell Falls Parkway and ran away. The Wendell Police Department is helping the sheriff's office with its search.
Today, we'll get an update from the state on how many flu and COVID cases we have in North Carolina. WRAL's Laura Levine joins us live from UNC Rex Hospital in Raleigh. And Laura, respiratory illness cases are on the rise nationwide. That includes us here.
Jeff, good morning. Hospitals like UNC Rex here behind me are dealing with the post-holiday surge that we've been seeing. And now we know today we'll get a better perspective of how those respiratory illnesses have been spreading in our communities. Take a look at some of the latest data. I'm going to break it down for you. We know as of last week, 4 more people have died from the flu in North Carolina. That brings the total number of people who have died here in our state to 17. No children have passed away from the flu this season. Emergency visits for all respiratory viruses are down slightly from last week. However, hospital admissions are up. We know Daniel Park, he's the medical director of the pediatric emergency department at UNC. He tells us that patients who are immunocompromised are at greater risk. He also says it's important to practice those habits that we picked up during the pandemic, like washing our hands and wiping down highly touched surfaces.
This year, we've seen a little bit of a delay in seeing RSV and flu, and we're starting to see it right now. It's pretty much doubled over the past couple of weeks, and we're pretty much in the peak of it right now.
So getting a vaccine, getting vaccinated, he says, is the best precaution. We're going to get that update from the state later today around noon. Laura Levine, WRAL News. We're live in Raleigh.
Mediators say Hamas and Israel are closer to a Gaza ceasefire hostage agreement than they've been in months. If the deal goes according to the current draft, the fighting in Gaza will stop for 42 days. Dozens of Israeli hostages and hundreds of Palestinian prisoners will be freed. Israeli troops will pull back to the edges of Gaza, and Palestinians will be able to return to the area. The question is whether the ceasefire will survive beyond that first phase. Negotiations to reach the second and third phases of the agreement would start on the 16th day of the ceasefire.
Raleigh police need your help tracking down a convicted felon with a violent criminal history. Police are looking for Anthony Dunn. He is wanted for assault with a dangerous weapon, accessory after the fact to murder, and possession of a gun by a convicted felon. Crime Stoppers is offering a reward of up to $1,000 for information leading to his arrest.
A woman is now charged with starting the fire that burned down the House of Art in downtown Raleigh, and the community is showing its support for the bar. Hundreds of people came out to the Poorhouse in Raleigh last night for a fundraiser for the House of Art. The event came hours after authorities charged Eva Torellis with starting the January 7th fire that burned the bar. Court documents show she has a prior conviction for arson in New York. She'll be in court in Wake County later this week. As for the House of Art, it's unclear if the owners plan to restore the burned building or reopen in a new location.
Lanes of I-440 will be closed for the next 2 nights as part of the ongoing widening project. Westbound lanes between Hillsborough Street and Western Boulevard will be closed from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. tonight. The eastbound lanes will be closed from 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. tomorrow night. This will give crews a chance to work on bridge construction right in that area. Keep in mind, your detour is Gorman Street for that.
Firefighters are bracing for more powerful winds today in Los Angeles as they fight the wildfires there. More than 6 million people in Southern California are under a critical fire threat today. That's according to the National Weather Service. The fires have now killed at least 25 people, 9 in the Palisades fire and 16 with the Eaton fire. People in affected areas are being asked to wear respiratory masks to help protect against ash from the fires. The Eaton and Palisades fires are now the most destructive and second most destructive wildfires, respectively, in Southern California history, according to CAL FIRE.
Time is 6:08 here in the WRAL Life Center. Keeping my eye on New York right now, specifically in Syracuse, where there's snow on the road and it's even still coming down. You'll see it just kind of lightly here on this. They're talking about snow accumulations of up to 2 to 4 inches in that area there. And it's actually under a winter weather advisory in the county in which Syracuse sits. Now, you may be wondering, what is our forecast looking like for here in our area next week? Don't worry, Elizabeth Gardner will have your full weather forecast coming up in just a couple of minutes.
Today, you can learn about career opportunities with the Wake County Sheriff's Office. It is hosting a career fair today. The Sheriff's Office is looking for detention officers and registered nurses. The event is at the Wake County Detention Center from 8 to 5. Coming up on 10 after 6 right now on your Wednesday, wildfire risk. Why the threat is especially high right now in North Carolina, even with our cold temperatures.
And the Supreme Court could ban TikTok as soon as today. And now some of the app's rivals are seeing a sudden surge. We'll tell you about the #1 app in the U.S. that's trending right now. And Elizabeth Gardner tracking some bitter wind chills.
Yeah, that wind chill is really starting to drop now. It feels like 14 in Roxborough and South Hill and 20 right here in the Triangle. I'll show you how much lower it could go before you head out the door.
As you get into your car, tune to WRAL News Plus on your radio. In Raleigh on 99.3 FM. In Durham, 96.5 FM. And everywhere on 101.5 HD3.
6:13, skies are clear, temperatures are chilly. It's 29 in Durham and Raleigh, but still 35 in Fayetteville. We're seeing colder temperatures in the north. Our wind today is coming out of the north, so that cold air starting up in Canada, moving on down into our area. So we're starting to cool down, of course, from north to south. This is a look at the wind chill right now. 14 in Roxborough and South Hill, 20 in the Triangle, 22 in Rocky Mount, but it's not as cold feeling in, say, Fayetteville, 27, but that may change as we get through the next couple of hours as the wind continues to pick up out of the north. So kids at the bus stop this morning certainly will be in their big puffy coats. Our temperature this afternoon, even when they get off the bus, is going to be chilly, right around 40 degrees. We warm up for the weekend with a chance for showers. I'll walk you through the timeline. Coming up, Ken.
Elizabeth, at 6:13, just a disabled vehicle there on the Beltline near Wake Forest Road. But in terms of drive times coming into the capital city this morning, very little to no delays whatsoever. Similarly, in the Bull City, all the major routes are delay-free at this hour. Nothing to report, which is really good news. And Renee, coming up in just a few minutes, I'll have some drive times from Wake Forest and Apex.
We will check back with you then. Ken, thank you. Cuba is expected to release more than 500 political prisoners after the Biden administration reached a deal to take Cuba off the list of state sponsors of terrorism. Senior officials say political prisoners who are deemed unjustly detained will be freed before Biden leaves office Monday. The Cuban Foreign Ministry says the releases may begin today. President-elect Trump added Cuba to the state sponsor of terrorism list just before he left office in January of 2021.
New this morning, SpaceX has 2 new lunar landers on their way to the moon.
3, 2, 1, ignition, and liftoff. Go Firefly, go iSpace, go.
A Falcon 9 rocket launched from Kennedy Space Center in Florida just after 1 o'clock this morning. It carried 2 lunar landers, one from an American company and one from a Japanese company. The landers will take different paths to the moon. The American one is expected to land on the moon in about 45 days. The Japanese one will take an even slower path, possibly 4 or 5 months to get there.
One of the biggest social media platforms could soon be banned in the U.S. Any day now, TikTok could be a thing of the past. WRAL's Michelle McConaughey joining us now. Michelle, some of the app's rivals are seeing a sudden surge.
Yeah, they are, Renee. Lemon8 and Red Note. They have seen a surge in popularity in the U.S. as TikTok users are shifting to alternative platforms. As of this morning, Red Note is the #1 free app in the U.S. iOS store, followed by Lemon8. Both apps have similarities to TikTok, and Lemon8 shares a parent company, ByteDance, who is named in the law. The law that could ban TikTok focuses on concerns that China could manipulate content or steal user data. TikTok and content creators have argued the ban violates their First Amendment rights, but the federal government argued the ban is necessary for national security. Some experts see this shift to other apps as a protest.
By going to an app like Red Note, they're saying, no, I am in control of where I give my data.
And ByteDance could sell TikTok to an American owner. Questions swirling if Elon Musk is in the mix to buy it. Businessman and investor Kevin O'Leary also expressing interest. While it's unclear when the court will rule in the case, the court has announced it'll release opinions in pending cases today, which could include TikTok.
Officials are warning about a high risk for fires in our state this week. North Carolina State Forest Service says, yes, it is cold out there, but fires can still start. It's especially true given the dry conditions across parts of our state. All it takes is a small spark to send a forest up in flames.
Anywhere between high to very high fire conditions as a result of that dry air, low humidity levels, breezy conditions. And so it's not going to take much for the slightest ignition source to get out of hand and become a potentially dangerous wildfire.
Right now, 88% of North Carolina is considered abnormally dry. Nearly half of the state is in a drought. WRAL meteorologists will get an update on the drought conditions in our state tomorrow morning. Right now, we're looking for updates on where our situation stands as far as the feels like temperature out there. If I take you to White Lake right now, a little ripple on the water right there. There is some wind chill. You know that water's cold for sure. So as we spin around, take a look in our viewing area right now and bring it to downtown Raleigh as well. Not as bad as we thought it might have been today, maybe because that wind is laying down just a little bit, Elizabeth.
Yeah, starting to pick up just a little bit now. It's just the cold air was taking its time getting here. We'll take a live look at what's happening outside. Skies are clear. Fayetteville, Raleigh, Apex, and Chapel Hill. Chapel Hill, of course, courtesy of Top of the Hill restaurant. Let's talk about our hour-by-hour wind chill. We are likely to drop down into the mid-teens this morning, 18, 17 in the Triangle, already 14 up near the Virginia line. And it's just going to feel cold all day. At lunchtime, it's going to feel like 27. And it'll feel like 35 this afternoon. It'll be a day like yesterday where we see a lot of sunshine, but it may be a bit breezier. This high pressure system is responsible for helping to drag down that cold air from Canada. And you're probably looking at all this rain down to the south. Yep, that's going to be headed our way for the weekend, but temperatures will warm up ahead of that. All this cold air in place today and tomorrow will retreat to the north. So we're not looking at wintry weather. It's unlikely. We're going to see some of that Gulf moisture roll in with most of the rain Saturday afternoon and Saturday night. But we may see some of that wrapping back around on Sunday. We are going to see a flow coming out of the south before the system gets here. So our highs will be in the 50s, overnight lows in the low 40s. We're fairly dry right there at 1 o'clock, and then the rain rolls through. The cold front shifts offshore, but there may be another disturbance that develops. It's possible that we would see some snow with that up into Virginia, but not here. So that's something that we'll keep our eye on. That would be on Sunday. So what about your outdoor plans? We're going to give it a yellow light, and I feel like that's generous. I'm tempted to give it a red light for Saturday and maybe even Sunday. Afternoon showers and then a few scattered showers on Sunday. It's just not going to look too great for getting outside. We look ahead to next week. Temperatures well below normal. I mean, look how dark this blue area is, almost black, showing a chance for some much colder than normal temperatures. We're watching the potential for a storm system on Wednesday, but there's no agreement with the models right now. We do have a favorable pattern for Wednesday with lots and lots of cold air in place. Scenario number one keeps our low offshore, so no precipitation next week. The other one brings that low up into or close to North Carolina, which could bring us some wintry precipitation. Right now, we're just looking at patterns, and the cold air is there, but we're just, there's no indication about when or how much or if at all we would see any wintry precipitation. We are looking at a good chance of seeing some rain on Saturday and Sunday, of course, but it will be much warmer at that point.
Of course, Frankie's a big fan of yours now that you got some snow for him last week.
Thank you. I loved your video that you posted of him. He was just having so much fun in the snow. Y'all know what I think about snow.
Exactly.
I don't have to say it.
Here's what you can expect as you're getting ready to head out the door this morning, particularly our friends in Wake Forest. You're using US 1 coming down to 540 this morning, just about a 1-minute delay this morning. How about if you're coming in from Apex and all points south, like Lee County, Moore County, and you're using US 1, clear sailing all the way to the Beltline this morning. Let's head over to the Bull City and give you a look at, before that though, let's look at the other major routes coming into the capital city. Absolutely no delay this morning. Now let's head over to the Bull City. Similarly, all the major routes in the Bull City are delay-free in this hour. Listen, you're getting ready to head out the road this morning. Tune us in on the radio right there, 101.5 HD3. We'll keep you updated all morning long.
Thanks, Ken. Wake County's SPCA is getting a big expansion. The enhanced services it will be able to offer when its new building opens its doors.
Alert issues. Wake County officials give an explanation for why a late-night emergency message intended for just a few startled hundreds of thousands of people.
This What's Trending report, sponsored by Rug & Home.
Fans of the show Severance got a surprise at New York's Grand Central Station.
And Ken Smith is here now with what's trending on our Wednesday, Ken.
Yeah, Jeff, and Renee, you go catch a train, and all of a sudden, Art starts imitating live stars. Yes. Adam Scott, Britt Lauer, and Zach Cherry were all there for a piece of performance art. They were inside a cubicle designed to look like the office space from the show. Season 2 of Severance comes out on Friday.
I mean, this is just master marketing right here. A pop-up performance art. They didn't break character. They stayed. They're cleaning the office. They're sitting on their computers, the mysterious computers from the show, right?
Full on character.
Yeah, right. Ben Stiller was in the crowd. He's the director and producer of the show. He's out there talking to people and all this. Is really well done.
Genius. Absolutely
Great
genius.
pop-up.
So listen, as a father of 3 little ones, I can understand why Miss Rachel is trending this morning. Her show is coming to Netflix. 4 episodes of her show will debut on the streaming service on January 27th. There will be a curated compilation of her social media videos for young children.
Some of you may be like, who is Miss Rachel? But if you have a newborn or a toddler, she is huge. I mean, she launched her YouTube channel in 2019, 13 million subscribers, her signature pink headband, and she just has a unique way of like incorporating singing, learning, and play, and making it fun for young children, just teaching them all these important lessons. Very cute.
Can't wait.
The next big thing. All right, Ken, thanks. The SPCA of Wake County broke ground on a new $27.5 million facility. It's right next to the current one near Tryon Road. The organization says it'll be able to double its spay and neuter capacity in a given year with the new building. They'll also expand social services in an effort to keep pets and families together throughout the state. The SPCA hopes to have that new facility up and running this time next year.
Our wind chill is in the teens in some places this morning. As we go through the day, still going to feel like 27 at lunchtime and only mid-30s for this afternoon. I'll show you how cold it will be as you step out the door.
New clues into where the California wildfires may have started. The risk of further spread as firefighters continue to work to put out new fires that sparked overnight.
And breaking news this morning, a homeowner injured where this house fire started around 3:30 this morning and sent at least one person to the hospital.